Hello friends, welcome to new video on research knowledge. In the research community, when researchers are doing research either during PhD or post PhD, they assume that research publications means writing technical paper or review paper only. Most of the researchers don't know there are various types of small research articles you can write and submit to the journal for the publication, and all these small articles are also considered as a research publications. So today in this video I am going to highlight various types of research papers which you can write and submit to the journal apart from original research paper or technical paper and review paper. Also, at the end of this video, I am going to tell you about various popular research publication houses which are every year publishing thousands of articles in various journals. So we all know that as a researchers, there are various types of research papers, but most commonly people knows about only technical paper, which is also called as research paper, and review paper. But apart from this, there are different small articles you can write and submit to the journal, which are also treated as a research publication. Those small articles can be classified into technical note, which is also called as a letter to editor, short communication. You can publish discussion on any published article, and if any discussion is published, you can publish a closure of that discussion in the article in the form of article to that journal. Even you can publish erratum. So technical note, short communications, discussion on article, closure of article, and erratum, these are all small articles, not more than 3 to 4 pages. You can submit to the journal, and these are also considered as a research publications. Today in this video, one by one we'll discuss all these 7 types of research papers, research publications. So very first is research paper, which is also called as technical paper. We all know that while doing the PhD or after PhD, when we are performing a wide study on any specific research area, after performing the experimental work, analytical work, validation of the results, generating the results, drawing the graph, everything. So when you are doing a research, the original results of that research can be published as a research article, right, which consists of the detailed methodology adopted to complete that research. So you have to write down the research methodology. It may be experimental work, it may be analytical work, it may be software related, or any tools which you are using. So you have to explain in detail what tool is used to perform that research. Then you have to highlight the results obtained through that research. So it may be numerical results, it may be graphical results. Then you have to discuss those results in the form of discussion, and then finally you are drawing the conclusions. So when you are doing any research, the original results of that research, when you publish, that is treated as a technical paper or research paper. For example, this is well known now, any journal you can submit the technical paper. So just one sample I have given here. This is one technical paper which is published to the Journal of Thermal Stresses. So here if you observe, first you are performing the literature review, then finally you are writing the objectives of that research study, then what methodology, it may be experimental, numerical, mathematical, whatever, what methodology is adopted, that methodology you have to explain in detail, and then finally you have to present your numerical results in the form of table, either in the form of graph. Everything you have to explain in detail about the findings and limitations, and then you are writing the conclusion based on this. So this is called as research article. So in one line, if you want to understand what is research article is, it is a report or paper highlighting the original results of the research. Then second paper which you can write, that is a review paper. So review paper don't include any numerical results or graphical results. In review paper, you are reading the literature related to your research domain, research area, and while reviewing this literature, you have to point out the various findings of that particular literature or paper. What are the limitations of that paper? What can be the scope of future research based on that paper? So when you are reading various research articles related to any research area, and if you critically evaluate what are the different problems addressed in all those research papers and what problems are not addressed, what is the scope of future research, what are the limitations of that research paper. So like this, if you want to publish a review paper on any research topic, you have to read the maximum literature available on that research area. So maybe sometimes researchers are citing 100 research papers in review paper, 100, 200, 300, 400, sometimes 500 also. You have to read all those 400, 500 research papers available in that research area. Then you have to come up with few important findings, that which are the problems addressed in all those 400, 500 research papers, which problems are not addressed, which methods are used and which methods are not used. So finally, you have to write down the summary, that what is the scope of future research or what are the research gap till date in that research area. So review paper always help the researchers to decide their objective of future research, to decide their research titles, to extend their research study in the future direction. So review paper is a base of that. But you have to critically evaluate the literature. Review paper doesn't mean that you are citing only 40, 50 research papers and then you are concluding the review paper. It is not like that. You have to cite the papers right from the beginning of that research. It may be in the 15th century, 16th century or 17th century. Right from beginning, you have to read all the research papers available in that research area, and then you have to close that review paper with the summary about the research gap and future research scope. So as an example, if you see, this is one review article which I have published on vibration analysis of laminated composite plates, where I reviewed more than 350 research articles. If you look at the reference list, 391 references I have cited. It means I have gone through 391 papers, and based on those papers I have discussed the various problems of laminated composite, what are the different theories available for the analysis of laminated composites, what are the different problems we can solve on the laminated composite. So all these discuss, along with the even results also you can highlight, which is not mandatory for review article. Result is not mandatory. Here only I have given the result also, but result is not mandatory in the review article. So review articles are base for the future researchers, where you are critically evaluating the published literature and giving the suggestion for the future research in the form of research gap and scope of future research. So writing a review paper is not a simple task. You cannot write review paper in the beginning of your PhD. Let me clear that most of the research scholars are thinking that in the first 6 months of their research PhD, they can write a review of literature and then they are doing this research study. It is not like that. To write down the review paper, you need lot of maturity. You have to read the lot of research papers. So it means review paper you can write at the end of your PhD. After 3 years only you can write. Then apart from these two well-known research publication types, now there are few more which you need to understand. So third one is technical note or letter to editor. So it means when you are starting your research on a wide research area, if you decided your research topic, but in the beginning of your research, if you find out some important technical innovations in the form of either innovative techniques, new instruments, new method, new problem, or very new result. So it is very in the beginning of your research area, which is actually based on the wider study, but in the beginning if you come up with the innovative techniques or innovative methods or innovative problem, and if you want to publish that as soon as possible, you can publish it as a technical note. So technical note is not more than 3 pages. It is maximum 2 to 4 pages you can write, and you can publish it. Later on, based on that small article, you can even publish the extended paper also, which is of 10, 15, 20, 25 pages. So technical note means it is based on very small finding out of the very wide study. So based on very small innovative finding, you are writing the research paper, that you can publish as a technical note or letter to the editor. For example, see, on the paper itself it is written as a technical note or technical paper. So this is you can publish as a technical note. Maximum it is 4-5 pages, depend on the journal policy, right? So this is technical note you can write. Then next paper is short communication. Short communication is also similar to technical note, which is maximum 4 pages in size, and it reflecting the key results of your research. Key result means 1 or 2 problems you can maximum address in this paper. Of course, authors later on encouraged to submit the extended version of the paper later stage. It may be of 15 to 20 pages, but initially, just like a technical note, you can publish the short communication, which highlight only innovative thing of 1 problem or 2 problems out of your complete research area, right? So this you can publish as a short communications. On the paper itself, it is always come up with the type of research, title of type of research paper. If you look at this, here it is written short communication, right? So its title is just like your research area, but short communication means if you look at this, it is of 4 pages only, highlighting only 1 or 2 innovative problem, innovative results. Later on in detailed results, maximum problems you can present in the form of technical article. So in short communication, it is not more than 3 to 4 pages. Every journal has this type of research paper submission, right? When you are submitting to article to any journal, in the very first step, that journal is asking what is type of article you are submitting. So when you click to that drop down arrow, you are getting all these options: technical paper, review paper, short communication, discussion, all. So you have to select that it is as a short communication, 4 pages, and you can write. Okay. After short communication, now discussion on article you can publish. What is discussion on article means? Discussion on article means when you are reading any paper related to your research area, and if you found that there is a scope of revision of that article, right? There is a scope of improvement of that article related to some points, or if you want to ask some query to the authors who published that research paper, so that you can publish as a discussion on article. Every article is open for discussion for minimum 1 year after its publication. So if any article which is written by any authors, if you are reading that and if you identify there is some need of revision of that article, there is a scope of improvement, or there are some queries, if you have any query related to any article, that you can write down as a discussion on article, right? So how to write down discussion on article? if you look at, this is one sample I have included. This is one ASME Journal of Applied Mechanics. So this was the original paper published by Shimpi, Patel and Arya in 2007 in ASME Journal of Applied Mechanics. These are the volume and page numbers. Now while reading this article, Professor J.G. Simmons, he identified there are few points which can be addressed to improve this article. So he wrote this one page note. This is one page only. So he written one article addressing few improvement or suggestions. So title of this, if you look at here, it is published as a discussion. Discussion on what? Discussion on this paper which is earlier published by these authors. So J.G. Simmons has written one page query or one page maybe one page suggestion to the Shimpi, Patel and Arya on their article which is published in the ASME Journal of Applied Mechanics. Now if it is a discussion, query, suggestion, if it is once it is raised by the Professor Simmons, it is responsibility of Professor Shimpi, Patel and Arya to close that discussion. So if anyone publish discussion on any article, it is responsibility of that original authors to close that query. And that query, if you are addressing the solution to query raised by any author, that you can publish as a closure of article. So next type is closure of article. It is answer to query raised by the any author on your paper. So with the same example we'll see here. If you look at this, now this is what is this? This is closure to. Closure to what? Closure to discussion published by Professor Simmons on this article. So whatever queries raised by Professor Simmons, Shimpi, Patel and Arya have addressed those queries to Professor Simmons. This is Professor Simmons, right? So Shimpi, Patel and Arya, these authors have addressed the queries about or observations of the Professor Simmons on that particular article. So if anybody publish any discussion article on any paper, it is responsibility of original authors to close those queries, and that can be published as a closure of article. So discussion on article is also a research publication. Closure of that article is also a research publication. Finally, you can publish erratum, article to erratum. What is the meaning of erratum? Erratum means, suppose if you write a research paper and if it is accepted by the journal and it is published online, even on in hard copy also, suppose it is published. After publication, if you identify there are some errors in the research article, errors may be wrong result is presented in one or two problems, or wrong figure is pasted, right? So if any error is available in that published research article, that error may be by the author or may be publication house during the processing of article. And now if you want to correct that error, so that error correction you can publish as a erratum. Okay. So for example, if you look at erratum, here it is written, right? So this is published as a erratum. Heading itself written erratum. Now what is erratum is, this is the original article published in 2013 in the Journal of Child Orthopedics. So in the original publication, the first surname of the second author was wrongly published as N. Kirkit Patel in the affiliation. The correct name should read as a N.K. Patel, right? This is just one line correction. So it was error observed by the authors after publication. So they have published erratum on that. But erratum is also published as a research paper. So one line, but it is a research paper, right? It means if you publish any paper and if you identify the errors in that, you can correct those errors which are also published as a research paper. which is called as erratum. So these are the 7 types of research papers you can write to the journal. Out of these 7, very first is a research article or technical paper, which is your original research and original findings. So it requires at least 1.5 years to complete that study, experimental work, analytical work, to generate the results, to draw tables, figures, everything. The second is review paper, where you have to review minimum 200-300 research papers available on your research domain, and you have to critically evaluate the findings of those research papers, and then finally you have to address the research gap, which are useful for the new researchers to fix their objectives and to extend their research. Apart from these two, there are small articles we can publish to the journal, that is technical note, which already we discussed. It is a small article highlighting the innovative or innovations in techniques, instruments, problem, solution, methodology. Apart from your complete research study, wider research study, if you want to publish a small problem which is very innovative, that you can publish as a technical note. Similar to that, there is a short communication which is maximum of 4 pages, which is also out of a wider research study. You can publish a solution to one innovative problem. Later on, you can publish a detailed research article also. Then discussion on article, as I told you, every article is open for discussion minimum for 1 year. If you read any article and if you identify there are few observations, queries which are required to revise that paper for the improvement of that paper, that you can publish as a discussion on article. But once you write down discussion on any article, it is a responsibility of original authors to close that queries, which is also published as a closure of article. And finally, if you identify some errors in the published paper, and if you want to correct those errors, you can publish it as a erratum. So these are the 7 types of research papers you can publish. All are considered as a research publications. At the end, I would like to highlight few popular publication houses which are publishing the research papers in almost all areas of science and technology, professional as well as non-professional courses. So very popular is Elsewhere, which is available for all branches of science and technology. Even other than science and technology, non-professional courses also, they are publishing the journals. So every year Elsewhere publishing thousands of journals, thousands of articles. So Elsewhere is the most popular publication house. Springer is also available, which is also publishing the papers of all areas, all domains, engineering, science and technology. IEEE publication house, which is very popular for the computer science, electrical, electronics and telecommunication, this type of research you can publish in IEEE publication house. Then there is a SAGE publication, which is also publishing the research papers related to all domains, professional and non-professional, engineering, science and technology, medical, everything. So SAGE is also very popular publication house. Then there is a Wiley publication house, which is also for the all branches, all courses. Then there is ASC and ASME, very specialized to American Society of Civil Engineering and American Society of Mechanical Engineering, which are publishing research related to civil and mechanical domain. Even aerospace engineering related research is also can be published in ASC and ASME. Then there is a World Scientific publication, which is also applicable to all branches, all programs in engineering, science and technology. Then there is a Versita publication, De Gruyter publication, which is also for all branches. And finally, there is a Technopress publication, which is specially for civil engineering research. So these are the few more popular research publication house. But apart from all these, there are few more which are also the popular publication houses. There are few journals which are not attached to any publication house, but they are still very reputed, right? So while selecting the journals, publication house, we all know that we are publishing a paper in the journals which are indexed in either Web of Science, Scopus, SCI or the standard indexing systems. So these are the few popular publication house where you can publish your paper. So this is about the various types of research paper and popular publication house. I hope all of you have liked this video about the research. In the next video I am going to address how to write research paper, effective writing of research paper. Thank you very much.